2. Good morning, guys. It is Thursday, finally. It feels like it's supposed to be Friday, but that's every day.
It does have that Friday feeling.
Do you guys recognize that voice? Do you recognize that voice? Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, I have the one and only Matt Austin in Results 1 today. Sir, thank you for joining me today.
I told you the only way we could ever do this is if we went mudding. So what puddle are we?
Well, we are in East Orange County right now, so maybe if we slide out towards Bithlow.
We could hit a little Bithlow.
Hit the track up out there. I know you used to do these hours many years ago, but thank you for joining me bright and early this morning. It is an honor to have the man of New 6 in the truck with me.
Dude, it is fun to finally be here. You and I, we secretly hang out.
We do.
On our own sometimes. So it's nice to do it out in the open.
Yes, I call them our sanity lunches.
Yeah, that's right.
So just to chat, talk about life and all that stuff. We live opposite lives, but we also have a lot in common. So with values and just how we see things. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely. You're a great dude. I love this segment that you do.
And it gets interesting sometimes.
I only get to see it after the fact, little clips of it in the afternoons, but I'm always
You mean you don't go to YouTube and watch the whole thing and sit there and share it with your friends?
I have seen it on YouTube, but usually I catch it after the fact.
Gotcha. So you guys, before I even joined New 6, I think it for me was a godsend because you guys took traffic pretty seriously. Mm-hmm. However, it wasn't just because you wanted to, it was because something happened to you. Here in the state of Florida, it used to be, almost NASCAR out here when it came to driving. People on their phones all the time. There was no laws. There was nothing. But one day you were leaving New 6 or headed to work.
I was leaving work, yeah. It was about somewhere around midnight. And I was at the light. It was Silver Star and John Young Parkway. And I was just sitting there at the light. And I remember just hearing this really loud noise.
Okay.
And then I woke up. And I was in the intersection. My car was rolling through the intersection because somebody had slammed me from behind so hard. They didn't hit the brakes. They didn't swerve.
Wow.
They just
There's your car right there.
On their phone. Yeah, there's a look at the back of my car, which was pretty much gone.
You were driving a full-size Dodge Charger at the time.
Yeah, it was a Chrysler 300.
300,
pretty much the same thing. And the trunk was caved in. And I was knocked out. So I had one of those baby seats. My wife bought this Barca Lounger child safety seat for my kid at the time.
Good one.
And it was spun around. Oh, yeah. It was like an easy, lazy boy recliner.
Right.
It was spun around. So it kind of almost met the back of my head. So when the person slammed into me, that thing went up the back of my head and just knocked me out. Just shut the lights off.
So I've never been involved in a high impact crash like that. I've gotten to a single vehicle crash on my own, but that's for another day. But talk to me a little bit about you truly had no clue until boom, it happened.
Right.
So no screeching tires, no nothing.
No idea. And I was so confused when I woke up because you're concussed. I had a really bad concussion.
Okay.
Like a week to 10 days of no light, no leaving my room.
Wow.
If I looked at, I remember when I was at the doctor, he was like, you're not going to be wanting to do anything this weekend. I'm like, it's a football weekend. I've got an excuse. I'm going to just sit and watch football. He's like, yeah, good luck. And it's just like, if you're watching television or looking at a phone, it's like someone put in a little egg beater in your skull, and it just everything just hurts. So, but to go back to the time when it happened, he slams into me. This guy who admitted to texting to the police after the fact, and didn't even get a ticket, by the way, because back then they had to witness him texting and then hitting somebody. And so I'm rolling through the intersection. I feel this. What I thought was water dripping down the back of my head. It was blood. I ended up getting 10 staples, and there were people screaming.
Dude, so you got split up pretty.
Oh yeah, it was a nasty wreck. And thank God nobody was coming through the intersection.
Because then it would have been.
I would have been gone.
Right.
So he did admit it, and the officer came into the emergency room after the fact, and he was like, yeah, the guy said he was texting and driving. I'm like, is he in jail?
Right.
What happened to this guy?
Of course.
And he's like, oh yeah, well, we can't arrest I will never forget, this is one of the few things I really remember from that night. He goes, you can't arrest people for being stupid. And I'm like, I said,
you can almost tell his frustration about it.
Yeah. But I'm like, people get arrested for being stupid all the time.
Every day. Every day.
People do stupid things and get arrested. That is why you get arrested a lot of times. So I was shocked. And once the cobwebs kind of fell off, we at News 6 decided, wow, we got to do something about this. And it sucks. I know some people have said online critically of me, and maybe this is true. Well, until it happened to you, you didn't really do anything about it. And that's true, but I didn't really know, to be honest. I didn't know how inept our laws were.
It wasn't intentional ignorance to you. It was you were guilty of circumstance, I would say. Mm-hmm. I would say that a situation and I'll probably get in trouble for this. I get in trouble all the time.
Good, we'll both get in trouble.
Yeah, but it's in a way that unless our leaders aren't giving it attention, we think it's not important at some point, especially with traffic. Traffic gets ditched to the side on so many different levels because it's a revenue maker. It affects tourism in certain areas, and I think sometimes, I think we have the lowest horrible DUI laws in the country right here in the state of Florida. And until the incident happens to someone who maybe wants to be a squeaky wheel, and I think you were chosen by circumstance to be like, wow, look, Matt's got a platform. News 6 is a community-driven organization. Let's help some people out. And I think that's what you did. So anybody who wants to hate, you got to come through me before you get to Matt.
That's all good.
Because I'm all about it.
We're used to hate in this job. It's just the way it goes.
Amen.
People are going to be critical about everything.
So then now, this incident happened. You realize, wow, people are doing this every day, getting hurt, and there's zero consequences. News 6 you went to Tallahassee.
Yeah, and my bosses went to bat for me because this took years to
I remember
make happen. I mean, I was in Tallahassee all the time. They were buying hotel rooms. I was missing shows, and I was heading to Tallahassee, and at least people are driving a little crazy for us today.
This is UCF. I expect nonetheless out here along Alafaya Trail.
That's right. Somebody almost ran you off the road.
Not the safest drivers out here. But yeah, you were in Tallahassee. We've got some of that old footage here.
Yes, I even spoke in front of committees. One of the big issues with traffic safety, as you know, there's no lobbyist out there saying, hey, let's save lives,
Doesn't that suck?
Nobody's paying for that.
Right.
So it doesn't get in front of the lawmakers. It doesn't get their full attention. There are so many other things that grab headlines, get them on national TV, or that a lobbyist will take them to a steak dinner and say, hey, I really want you to look at this. Yep. There's nobody doing that to save lives. It's just the right thing to do. And unfortunately, lawmakers don't always
do the right thing.
I'll
say it.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out a nice way to say it.
No, there is no nice way in this truck, Matt. So you guys pushed it, and finally some change did come out of it.
Yes. In 2019, we got that bill passed, and then Governor Ron DeSantis signed it. We were there for that. It was a very big moment, and we were excited. You can't just eat the whole thing. You got to get them used to stuff.
Hold on one second. Okay, never mind. I was just about to call Thomas and be like, hey, what's going on?
Feed is still good?
Yeah, feed's still good. We're rocking and rolling.
All right, beautiful. And so it wasn't the greatest law that we wanted passed, but it was something to sort of wet the beaks. And, you can talk better about the law, about how people can, because you have to be actually typing in it.
We call it the no texting and driving law, but it's labeled something completely different, and it's all about wireless communication while being in the vehicle.
Yeah.
If you guys have the opportunity and go read the law, don't read it before you go to bed, because you will pass out almost immediately if you have something else you got to do. Or read it before you want to go to bed. That's what I want to say. So as a law enforcement officer, the only way I can enforce that law is if, for example, let's find a car over here, and we'll use the cameras as some demonstration. But it would be if I'm driving along and say this white van next to me, and I'm able to observe that driver behind the wheel, actually with the phone in their hand and physically typing on the phone, and like actually communicating and using their hand to communicate through the phone.
And it's not even scrolling.
No,
right? Like if they're scrolling Instagram, that's actually legal stuff.
It's I have seen it very easily defended, I'll say that.
Yeah.
I have seen law enforcement officers try to find loopholes there, because technically, if you're liking a post, you're communicating.
That makes sense.
If you are sharing something or posting something or taking a video through social media, you're communicating. So, and I've seen this upheld in some traffic courts. Now, I've seen some good defense attorneys in traffic areas really go to town and get that tossed out. But to your point, it's, for me, it's very smoke and mirrors. Now, the easy portion and what the law should have full across is, for example, what we're in right now,
construction,
an active construction zone. You are not allowed to even touch your phone in any capacity, whether you're in an active construction zone or an active school zone.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, I think that's what you were going after.
Right.
Just make us a hands-free state. And I think that's what's pretty crazy. But recently, you've had contact with a gentleman locally that's making some big noise.
Yes, and when I was in Tallahassee and going up all the time, I would always see the same guy there, and he's this dude that you will fall in love with as soon as you meet him, because he has had a very tragic story behind him, and the love of his son just keeps him going after laws that will keep other people's sons and daughters protected. We had a little story that aired I'd like to show you. This is Demetrius Brona. To wait your turn at a boring county council meeting.
My name is Demetrius Brona.
Demetrius Brona will do this 11 times in the next month, all to tell anyone who will listen his son's story.
I'm a dad from Tallahassee, and I'm on a mission to save lives.
I first met Brona in 2017 in Tallahassee.
Come on, we want to talk to you about texting and driving. You were the one no vote.
As I was chasing lawmakers through the Capitol, Brona was speaking in front of committees, talking about his best friend, his son, Anthony, who was rear-ended by a distracted driver in a van while riding his motorcycle.
And his presence and his force and just his attitude is just what this world needs more of. And unfortunately, it was extinguished by a grown adult who knew better than to drive distracted and did so anyway.
Brona and I teamed with lawmakers to pass a law in 2019, making texting and driving a primary offense. But it was only supposed to be the beginning.
There's one sheriff in Central Florida who called the current law as useless as memories on a boar hog. And I couldn't agree more.
The current law proved too vague to be enforceable. Now Brona is canvassing the state, pushing county commissions like Orange to pass resolutions, pressuring lawmakers in Tallahassee through local governments.
This is a plague that is, it's killing people all over the state, all over the country, and our politicians aren't really doing anything about it.
Matt Austin, getting results, News 6.
Drives me absolutely nuts. And I was just telling Matt, when I see people and they're like this, right up on their phone, and at the end of the day, how are you going to see? So talk to me about your experience with this gentleman, because he's comes across as just a man who is trying to do the right thing by his son.
He just kind of grabs you in as soon as he meets you. Well, first off, everybody he meets is his best friend.
Okay.
So I love this guy. As soon as I see him, he gives me a big hug.
Right.
And when somebody talks about their kids the way this guy talks about his kid that he lost, he's just his whole face just melts. Still to this day, he died in 2014.
Wow.
10 years ago. And when he talks about his kid, it's exactly the way I talk about my daughters,
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
No, it gets you. And every time I talk to him, it chokes me up, because the thought of going through what he has gone through is just impossible.
I could not imagine I'm not a father, but I tell people all the time, there could be so many titles in my life, and I think there is no title in the world that a man could feel that is more important than the title of being a dad or a father.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine. So your experience with him so far, what's the mission right now?
So the mission for him is just to save lives. That's all he wants. And he wants Florida to be a hands-free state. He sees what's going on we made this law. Again, it took years. It took so much poking and prodding. And this guy was at the Capitol every day during session for years. And we still see all these people out here texting and driving and nothing happened. If you think about it, think about all the people you know, realistically, who text and drive.
Right.
Right? And then think about all the people you know who have gotten a ticket for texting and driving.
None.
Zero. I know absolutely no one who has ever had it. Now,
this
when
car here in front of us.
I love that horn.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to be on your phone, you're going to hear it.
Right.
Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
I give you 3 seconds.
And people say, oh, if you change the laws, it won't work. I have seen this. I know for a fact it will. People who try to defend it, oh, you're just trying to make another law. It's a waste of time. I was in Washington, D.C. driving around with my brother-in-law years ago, and they have a hands-free, like, real deal.
Almost like if your brain thinks about it, ticket.
You're right. That's exactly. I was in the passenger seat and I was on my phone. My brother-in-law goes, "You better put your phone away. I'm not getting a ticket for that."
For the passenger.
I don't even know if that's possible.
He just was like,
he's so scared that he wanted nothing to do with a $200 ticket. So I witnessed firsthand.
So you get it.
It absolutely will work.
Education, this is going to sound aggressive, but I have always been the law enforcement officer that if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to educate you through enforcement.
There you go.
And unfortunately, the only way we enforce is through monetary means.
Mm-hmm.
And if we've got to hit your pocket so that you're not going to go out here and full on smash into someone's vehicle, then maybe it's going to cost you $200.
Yeah. And it should.
What kind of crap resistance did you run into with our lawmakers? What was the excuses? Because that to me is something I've never heard from our lawmakers. And because I know they're going to try to provide you some professional, responsive answer to defend themselves, right? But to me, what the heck is going to make sense of something
I
like
heard the most insane excuses. Well, some of them will tell you this.
Any honest, just straight up, this ain't gonna work.
Well, they kind of defend it in a small government sort of way. Some of them will say, I have the rights to privacy inside of my car, which is there's no constitutionality to that. You have to wear a seatbelt in the state of Florida.
Correct.
You can't drink and drive in the state of Florida.
I'm sorry, but it is not a right to drive.
It's absolutely not.
Right.
Yes. So that's one stupid thing you hear. And lawmakers will tell you this. People who say that they understand the Constitution will act like they have some constitutional right to privacy to do whatever they want inside a car, which is...
So this just shows that most aren't lawyers and most never been a cop, because there is no expectation of privacy if I can see in your car.
Yes.
Zero, none, at all.
You're in a public place.
Okay, so that's that.
There's that... And then there's overall, like, just we don't have time for it. We have more important things. You'll go to Tallahassee and it'll make you so mad when you're watching what they're actually talking about. They'll go. I remember it was the year before we got this passed. They spent 6 hours on the floor of the House debating if there should be a wall for liquor between a grocery store and a liquor store.
A wall?
Like a wall. Like if there should be a physical wall. If you shouldn't be allowed to have liquor inside a grocery store. They spent 5 to 6 hours on the floor talking about that, and we couldn't even get through committee to talk about something that could save thousands of lives in the state of Florida. And it's all because lobbyists...
It almost sounds like this is a stand-up, man.
Yeah, it is. It seems like...
Because, I assume this kind of mess happens and bureaucracy and all that stuff, but I've never heard someone I trust tell me that this is what they witnessed.
Yeah, it's worse than you assume.
And you would think most of these lawmakers do have children, have student drivers, have been in some type of crash or incident where someone was doing, or the bare minimum, experience what we just experienced. Someone dead stop, green light on their phone, and just sitting there and they get frustrated. Like, let's go!
Yeah.
And that contributes to traffic. What do you think it's going to take for either senior level government or even local legislatures to start to be like, we got to take this serious?
I hope it doesn't take one of the leadership positions getting bashed in the head or losing a family member like Demetrius did.
Right.
That's what I hope that it doesn't take. But honestly, you want to know the most sickening thing I've heard as I've talked to people off camera?
I guess so.
They say the reason that this never passes, one of the main reasons, is because these legislators, a lot of them do it. A lot of them text and drive. They don't want to get a ticket.
Well, because they'll be the first one to complain when they get a ticket.
Right. So
I've stopped a legislator before, let me tell you.
Have you? Oh, and I bet you found out real quick they were a legislator.
It's almost the first words. It's almost, I was going to say something, but I'll get in trouble.
Careful.
Careful. My wife will call me and be like, you shouldn't have said that. So, all right. But yes, it's sad that it's got to affect them in a bad way. But to your point, they're always mobile. They're always busy. And it's like, our boss is always busy, and you always know when she's in the car because this text was sent by Siri, and you could see it on the bottom. Yeah. So if our news director can operate safely, mobile all the time, you can tell me one of these part-time legislators can't? Because they are part-time, let's be real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So
a couple months out of the year is all they work.
What is your personal goal? Or what would your personal want? Because I think we're on the same page here. What do you think could happen with the right people getting involved without going crazy extreme?
29 states have a hands-free law. I don't think a hands-free law is crazy.
Neither.
If you want to make exceptions and it starts chipping away at it and it makes it impossible for law enforcement to do their job, okay, I feel like that's probably going to happen in whatever the next iteration in this is, unfortunately. Right. But eventually, you just have to come to, you can't be on your phone and driving. Look, we got one right there.
Here.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it.
She's a youngster, too. Yeah. Which, again, right now, it is legal to be at a stoplight. Right, Steve? There she is. Yeah.
What she's doing technically right now under current law is legal. In the other 29 states that Matt is talking about, simply touching your phone while your vehicle is on a public roadway in drive, illegal. Ticket.
Fat one too.
Everyone has a handheld charger. Yes. I mean, everybody.
It's too easy. This is $8 on Amazon.
People are, that's $20 if you get. We live in a time where you can get almost anything for about $10.
Yeah.
And this one's nice. I have in my car. I do think she saw the DSLR. And dropped the phone pretty quick. Oh no,
she's still
going.
Oh, and she's driving.
Now she's driving.
Now she's breaking the law.
Now 100%.
Flip on the lights.
I wish, man. We would have so much. Oh, you and I, if this thing had red and blue lights.
Oh gosh.
You guys would be so screwed. I would put motor troopers out of business because I'd be like, I will write a book a day. A book a day is 25. So
is that a book?
That's what, because back in the day it was handheld.
And you had 25 tickets?
25 carbon tickets in there. And it's like, press hard, 4 copies, have a nice day. Sign here. So, but that's before me. I got on early 2010 and everything printers. And it was just easy. And this is just the fun part of the conversation, guys. But it's like, companion. Oh, you were doing that? Print again. Oh, print another one. You gonna stop? Oh, here's another one, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So technology is definitely advanced, but to that point, there's no reason. Every car. My mom just got a Kia, and she was like, "I want this in it. I go, Mom, that's standard these days. You're gonna. It's gonna go. Your phone's gonna go directly to the dash.
Yes.
You don't. And my mom's pretty trooper mom. She is very focused on her safety because I'll be like, "Why didn't you answer the phone?" I was driving, Steven. She goes, "Steven." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am."
Your mom's amazing, by the way. I've gotten to meet her a couple of times.
She's obsessed with you, Matt.
No. I'm obsessed with her.
She got a little bit of crush on Matt, especially once she realized that's Matt's voice when it says live. I go, yes, everyone's yes, that's him. That's him. So
she's great.
I appreciate you driving around with me today.
This is fun, man.
This is fun. This is what I get to do every day. Something like this, traffic safety, but we haven't had an interview in a while, so I think I want to make it a common occurrence of having some of you guys hop in. I need to get Julie Brona in here.
She's the best storyteller.
And then get some of her email stuff that she gets.
Oh, yeah.
Because you on Florida 4th Estate, you guys do that.
We're going to be hitting hate mail pretty soon. I was just talking to Ginger about that. I've gotten 2 handwritten letters of hate mail. Handwritten.
Mailed to the station.
They were mailed to the state. They're not emails. Well, actually, one of them was typed out.
They had to be angry.
Oh, man.
Pen or pencil?
They're the best. Pen.
I say pencil, you can start to see the break happening.
As soon as they get really mad.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a lot. See, okay, this is a great example. Well, she's picking her nose right now. But like right now, no phone. It's mounted up on the dash. She's not doing anything.
Don't use your phone. Pick your nose.
Pick your nose.
Come on.
I would.
Just the way the good Lord intended.
Thank goodness I didn't show her tag. But this is why I get in trouble sometimes.
Yeah, buddy.
Because people are like, you put them on. It's public space.
It is. There's
just like when people get mad, and I see these auditors all the time on YouTube and stuff. Believe it or not, I do enjoy a professional First Amendment auditor when they're out there filming and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, I think you should understand, even if you're not one of those people can record you in public, so don't do anything stupid in public. And they'll be standing at the corner with a camera, and a cop will come up and be like, what are you doing? Oh, recording. All right, have a nice day. Or someone will counter it. It's like, no, understand what a public space actually means.
It's true. It's important. Some of those guys can be
a little
pokey.
They'll instigate, especially the ones that stand outside OPD headquarters. I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they could instigate a problem, especially when they start walking up and asking questions. But Florida now has the Florida Halo law. Do you know about that?
I think we did report on that, right?
Yeah, so you can still exercise your maybe discontent with law enforcement, but you can no longer be right up on them. And while they're conducting business,
that's what I was going to say. Is it conducting business or crime scene?
If I am an active duty of my law enforcement functions on a call, handling a situation, you must maintain 25 feet away from me. You can still yell at me if you want to. You can still record me.
Yeah.
But 25
you can't be all up in your business.
Right, because at that point, I get it. I believe people have the right to express themselves, but it becomes very dangerous for the law enforcement officer.
Especially if there's stuff going on.
Right.
And
people want to yell, that's my mom, that's my dad, this is my friend. Go do it at the sidewalk.
Yeah,
and then I'll
this is a tense situation.
Yeah, and I'll come talk to you, and you can tell me who it is in the next few. So, Matt, I appreciate you riding with me today. We've seen interesting traffic while we've been out here. Alafaya never surprised me. I went to Waterford Elementary School.
You did?
When it was all portables.
Really?
Way back in the day. None of this stuff was here. Only this was used. Is this still a Winn-Dixie?
The Winn-Dixie's gone. They put up Sprouts in.
Just a Winn-Dixie. This was all cow pastures out here on the side.
I didn't know you were an East Orange kid.
Yeah, so my grandmother lived in Waterford Lakes back in the day. God bless her soul. And when we moved up from Orlando, we lived here for a long time. And then
it's a good spot.
I love it out
Raised
here.
my kids out here. Good schools. Good people.
Well, it's we just need to get the traffic.
Not the best drivers.
No. Job security, man. That's why Triple Steve has a niche at News 6 for until these guys
for the
behave.
foreseeable future.
Until the day that no cop writes a ticket, then I might be messed up, and they'll be like, "Steve, we don't need you anymore." But I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I think you're safe.
So, brother, I appreciate you,
man.
man.
Dude, this was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, guys, make sure you head over to clickorlando.com/onpatrol. Check that stuff out. Of course, Florida 4th Estate with Matt and Ginger, always rocking. It, to me, the best podcast we have.
Oh, thank you.
It's funny, it's entertaining, and y'all cut up.
You're the man. Hey, 2 million views on YouTube last year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. So, guys, have a great day. Drive safely. Put the frickin' phone down.
Put them down.
And we'll talk to you guys later.